Episode 246 of the TV Dudes podcast, recorded July 24th, 2019. Comic-Con!
It wouldn't be TV Dudes if we didn't talk about something several weeks after it happened.
No. This will be relatively timely. It's 1 week after, I think, right?
Honestly, Marvel announced enough stuff that if you just crawled through theirs alone, you'll be done watching all the trailers by the time this drops, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys ever watch the dudes who post their reactions the day of? I don't want it as bad as those guys.
No.
They are on top of it.
I don't want it as bad as those guys is kind of the theme of my Comic-Con week, I think.
Speaking of your Comic-Con week, Les, I didn't know you were taking a trip.
Yep.
What the hell, man?
Yeah, so last Tuesday I flew out to Comic-Con or to San Diego, and that's my entertainment. Sent me out to cover Comic-Con. So I did a bunch of red carpet interviews and a bunch of roundtables.
Dude, that is awesome. That's my entertainment.com. That's my e.com.
That's my e.
So everyone should go check that out because you're going to be in a bunch of videos. And you were just showing us some pictures of some people that you were rubbing elbows with. And super jealous.
Starfucker extraordinaire.
Seriously, it was a lot of fun. Because I did a lot of press stuff, it wasn't quite as nuts as our ATX thing. I didn't get to handle my own booking, so I didn't do something nuts like give myself 39 interviews in 4 days. It was a little calmer than that, but...
You might kill yourself trying that.
Yeah. Comic-Con definitely ran differently than ATX Fest. But I did just stay in the Hilton in the press rooms for the whole week. I think I went on the floor once. So I didn't do any of the Hall H stuff. I heard about Comic-Con the same way everyone else did at another... Granted, my other meeting was a press room for other Comic-Con stuff, but while we were waiting for talent, somebody would pull their phone out and be like, they're live streaming from Hall H. Holy shit.
Periscope.
There's a new Blade movie.
Periscope's kind of blown that open. I mean, now, literally anybody can start a live stream.
Mm-hmm. Although, it's just tricky of whether or not you can get good internet in a place like Hall H, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of spots of, how are we suddenly... I mean, you'd look around a room and there'd be 5 or 6 people all with their heads up what? And we all just lost internet.
Yeah. Folks, we are going to be talking about Comic-Con, but first we should introduce ourselves. I'm Grant.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Les.
And we are the TV Dudes. And we're recording here at Permanent Record Studios.
Austin, Texas.
You guys didn't do it. Do I need to say it again? We're recording here at Permanent Record Studios.
Oh, that's the problem. You can't say studios.
Yeah, it's just Permanent Record.
Yeah.
We are recording here at Permanent Record.
Permanent Record.
Okay.
Studios.
Yeah, because we're part of the Electric Sweater Network.
Electric Sweater.
There we go.
Formerly the Electric Sweater Network. I think that thing doesn't exist anymore.
No, not the sweater.
I know. Such a good name. So folks, we got a bunch of news that popped out of Comic-Con that we thought we would just kind of go through and discuss.
I think there's going to be 2 types of people listening to this right now. There's going to be the people who, they already know all this stuff. They want to know how we feel about this stuff.
Right.
And there's going to be people lucky enough to have, just had their head under a rock and haven't heard any of the Comic-Con news yet. Yeah. And maybe we'll break a couple stories for you.
Like my mom sometimes listens, and she'll be like, there's a second Top Gun?
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
I got thoughts.
Yeah, so we're going to try and skew it mainly toward the breaking TV news, but we're going to hit a couple movies here at the end. But first up, one of the big debut trailers to come out was the Witcher trailer over on Netflix. They released this guy who plays Superman, this hunky dude named Henry Cavill
Mustache
or
Gate.
something. The guy who cocks his shoulders to fight Tom Cruise. One of the best moves I've ever seen.
You know what? I honestly don't know what it would take to fight and win against Tom Cruise. And so, if cocking both your arms is what, try anything.
If you want to beat Tom Cruise, you first have to run a full marathon. And that's when the fight begins.
Right.
After you've run him down and you wear him down, then you can start fighting.
You have to suck the blood of a unicorn to stay that young, or whatever the hell he has done.
No, seriously, how is he doing that? It's like a Crossroad Demon deal or something.
He sold his soul to Scientology.
Have you guys ever seen Legends of the Fall? I feel like we're kind of getting ahead on the Witcher trailer and skipping straight.
Oh
to Top
man,
Gun
but it
2.
does kind of have some Legends of the Fall vibe, doesn't it?
Well, no. You know how at, like, the end of Legends of the Fall, Brad Pitt's character is like, I want to die fighting a bear, you know? Like, die as I live. I think Tom Cruise is just trying to, like, keep upping it. Like, every movie he does, he's doing, like, crazier stunts. Like, in Top Gun, he's, like, in real fighter jets, like, getting spun around and shit. He's just going to die on one of these movies.
I like the idea that Scientology Valhalla involves dying in a stunt.
Oh, that's perfect. So, yeah, this trailer came out. This is based off of the book series, which they made a very popular video game series off of as well. Mm-hmm. I don't know if any of us have played it. I've watched it a bit.
Yeah, I've seen the cover artwork to the video game, and what I've noticed is the main character, 2 swords. You know, in this trailer, I'm only seeing 1 sword, guys.
That is
I mean, I know
blasphemy.
I know nothing about this IP. I haven't read these books. I haven't played this game, but I've seen this image of these 2 swords. Where's that second sword at? Maybe if you're listening to this and you're a Witcher fan, Grant has a theory that there might be some like canon involved in the sword, and maybe we got to see him build up to it.
Yeah, maybe he lost his sword, or he has to earn that second sword, the second master sword.
And also, the 2 sword like little hilt on the back doesn't seem super practical. So I mean, it could just be a thing where it's like, why would somebody carry 2 swords?
It looks good in a video game, but this is real life television.
Yeah, he's got 2 hands. You know, one sword in one hand, he's going to do stuff with that other hand.
I'll be honest, like the trailer for this looks a lot better than the still photo that they released a few months back of Cavill in
his white wig.
White wig.
Color correction made it look a bit better.
I am completely unfamiliar with The Witcher and genuinely thought that was either Legolas in the Amazon TV series version of Lord of the Rings or Raistlin from Dragonlance.
Oh man, no, he's super buff.
I had to look up a picture of Raistlin to make sure that I wasn't just dreaming that, but like, yeah, long white hair, wizardy.
So they're going after that Game of Thrones crowd, right?
This is straight up like hardcore aggressive fantasy, like warrior fantasy stuff, and it's kind of cool. It's interesting that this is coming out at the same time as Carnival Row is coming out, the same time as Amazon's doing their Lord of the Rings television series. Like, everyone is going, oh, there's a hole in fantasy. This is the lesson we learned from Game of Thrones.
Quietly casting and doing a Dark Tower TV series.
Mm-hmm.
So here is where they all fail, okay? This is like... So, but if you're looking at Game of Thrones and going, oh, there's a gap, we need to fill this gap. Sorry for being graphic. But if you're saying, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to fill the fantasy genre. That's like saying, oh, look at Breaking Bad. We need to make a meth show. It doesn't matter what it's about or who we put in it as long as there's meth in it, because meth right now is really big.
Yeah, it was clearly all of the stone and moss that made Game of Thrones work for everybody.
Exactly. I think there's a reason that we didn't see a lot of fantasy TV successful until Game of Thrones.
It's the same thing. Like, Lost came out, and then there's a whole bunch of like Flash Forward and what was that Spielberg one, Turok shit V.
I watched one of them with that weird circle waterfall thing. I don't even remember the name of it. Like, everyone seemed kind of generic.
Was it the one with the dinosaurs and shit that they filmed here in Austin? Some of it.
No, this one had the dude from That Thing You Do in it.
Tom Hanks.
No, the guitar player.
Ethan Embry.
Yeah, maybe.
That's the only other one I know. I don't remember that movie very well.
Oh, Ethan Embry's a guy, right?
I don't remember.
Ethan Embry was the bass player for a minute, right?
This is the one where like everybody shows up in the water. It's like something.
Oh, that's
happens.
Riverworld. That's one of the million versions of Riverworld, right?
Something like
There's like
that.
3 different iterations of that. They've tried to make it that novel, and they've done it wrong each time. So yeah, we'll see how they do on The Witcher.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, it survived converting from a book to a video game. So, and honestly, that trailer looks a lot better than I thought it would.
It looks kind of slick. There's something muddy about everything. It's all gray and washed out, which reminds me of the video game, but isn't as appetizing to the eye for me about like, ooh, I want to watch that. Mm-hmm. I mean, that story better sell itself.
It's a very big spider.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We mentioned Carnival Row, so I figured we should discuss this one as well. This is coming out on
Amazon as well.
This is Amazon, and this is about like a late 1800s fairies like live in the same world.
Yeah, it's like if fairies are the underclass of London. And it's a very, on the one hand, it's a very kind of civil rights issue. Like they're called critches and picks, and like there's all these slur words for the fairies. And
Pick sounds like such a good slur.
Yeah, and they're hated, and the humans are treated wonderfully, and the fairies are treated horribly. But then separately, there's some kind of dark god that's supposed to be returning, or something. Like there's some other big bad that is not just the fight between the humans and the fae. So I'm imagining where the show's going to go is Orlando Bloom and Cara Duvernay.
Yeah.
Having to get together and get through their. I don't think humans and fae are allowed to interact. Like
maybe they're going to birth
like you're not allowed to
Antichrist god or something.
Something like that.
Man, Good Omens was so good.
This actually kind of feels a little bit like that flashback scene they do in what was that? What was the not Good Omens? What was the other Neil Gaiman one? Oh, American Gods. Didn't they do like some like thing about like some leprechaun story?
Oh yeah, no, this feels a bit like Mad Sweeney's story, a bit of Mad Sweeney's story,
right?
Yeah.
Visually, there's some really cool stuff going on with the special effects for the creatures.
There's a lot of fairies flying. There's some very gross, very believable Victorian or human traps for fae. When they've got barbed wire strung through the forest just to catch all the fairies. Like there's some, or I think somebody's entrails are torn out, and it's a very dirty Oliver Twist Dickensian.
I was figuring this is going to be much more like Carnival mixed with the Nick.
Yeah,
and I guess in a way, but no, like I wasn't expecting fairies at all.
And it's Travis Beacham that wrote Pacific Rim.
Okay,
and this is something that apparently he started working on years ago, and it was always the like project he worked on that was tabled. You know, like, all right, well, let's go make all this other thing we can get made, and then he'd keep working on Carnival Row.
I hate the casting.
It's Orlando Bloom, and yeah,
I feel like they got the two most boring actors out there, Cara Duvernay and Orlando Bloom.
Then again, when I mentioned that Orlando Bloom was going to be at the red carpet I was at Comic-Con, my wife's immediate reply was, "You mean the hottest man on the planet?"
That's how my wife feels as well. So I get it.
That's clearly why he's cast. At least one of the reasons why, like, he is a bankable pick. This may not be aimed at us.
It's not for us. Okay, so let's jump over to the Arrowverse. Now, you guys have been watching some of the Arrowverse shows. I'm not sure if you guys are watching all
I'm fully
of it.
caught up on everything but Arrow.
Okay.
I first 5 episodes, Legends of Tomorrow. That's I'm there.
Well, it looks like their big announcement over at CW is that Crisis on Infinite Earths is their next big storyline they're leaning into, and they're going to have all of the shows play a role in this, except for Black Lightning, which still seems to exist outside of the universe for the time being. It might get eventually incorporated in, and maybe Crisis on Infinite Earths is a great platform for them to splice it in.
At this point, they've never even glimpsed it. Like, it's not in the multiverse as we understand it right now.
But the big news, my boy from was that
Superman
called Legends
Returns.
of Tomorrow? But I mean, yeah, Superman Returns. Brandon Routh.
Yeah, Superman Returns.
Brandon Routh, who was already playing a character, right?
Yes, he's Ray Palmer.
Yeah.
He's the Atom.
Captain Atom.
In that show,
The
I just
Atom.
dropped.
The Atom? I mean, Captain Atom was the original name, right?
No, there's also a Captain Atom.
He's
think
the
so.
Atom.
But this guy's the Atom.
Captain Atom is actually who Dr. Manhattan's based off of, huh?
Yes.
Okay, I confused them. So Brandon Routh's going to be back as Superman in a version of, like, Kingdom Come, so he's going to be an older version. So is he going to be playing two characters then?
Sounds like it. But and Tyler Hoechlin will also be the regular Supergirl iteration of Superman.
That's pretty cool.
Sweet. John Cryer is going to come back, reprising his role as Lex Luthor, which I haven't seen yet.
He looks great. I mean, he even said in an interview he wanted to right the wrong of being Lenny.
Wait, who's this actor?
John Cryer from 2.5 Men and a bunch of stuff before that.
Pretty in Pink.
Pretty in Pink.
Wait, you say he's reprising the role?
Yeah, so last season he was Lex.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like that guy from Smallville. When they going to get him back?
No.
Michael Rosenbaum?
Yeah, he got
Rosenbaum?
multiple Superman. Why don't
Oh,
you
that
get,
would be great. I
multiple
really
Lexes?
loved him as Lex.
Yeah, but no one wants to get that Superman back, right? Oh, no. Well, I'm thinking Lois Lane one. The Adventures
Dean
of
Cain?
Yeah, Dean
Oh,
Cain.
Dean
Fuck
Cain.
that guy.
Nobody wants Dean Cain back.
Tom Cavanaugh will pull double duty, it says, as both Harrison Wells from The Flash, as well as the pivotal Crisis character, Pariah.
Got to interview him.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
How was that?
Really fun.
Did you just only talk to him about Ed?
I really wanted to. That's all I wanted. Honest to God, all I wanted to talk to him about was Ed.
figured.
But instead, I managed to actually ask him a version of the question he hates most.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, he actually he was like, the last table I was at said, what's the question that you like getting least? And that's it.
What did you ask him? Like something like, what's your favorite part of playing?
No, I asked him of all the different wells, which one did he find most either fun or challenging?
Oh.
And he
Way to ask him a boring
Yeah.
question.
He
last
took
week.
it. Yeah.
Is that a pun on his last name? Which of these wells is most challenging?
Right? No.
Wait, what's his name again?
You can go back to that well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again and again. So no, he was very nice about it and still answered it, but it was not
Okay, while we're
not my best moment.
It's okay. While we're talking about shows that I don't watch, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will apparently be ending with this season 7, and that makes me go, holy shit, they managed to have 7 seasons of a garbage show.
I was getting ready to say, isn't the headline Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is still a show?
How is this still a thing?
If they've been doing the Shrike, Clark Gregg is playing a different character named Sarge now, and May just shot him.
Oh, boy. Did
It's
you
fucking
talk to all of
crazy
them,
now.
too?
Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
Nice. Wait, so that wasn't Sword that they did this last season?
Nope, that was S.H.I.E.L.D.
Seriously, you guys need to go check out that'smye.com and just check out all the videos where Les is interviewing these people. You're on video, too?
Some of them. These are round tables, but some of them are on video.
Ah, that's so cool.
I'm not sure when they all release, but yeah.
You guys remember that show, Batman Beyond?
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
It is finally coming out on Blu-ray.
Got to talk to Kevin Conroy.
Wow!
Old Bruce Wayne.
Fuck. Okay. Did
Kevin
you talk to
Conroy
someone
is
in everything,
legendary.
every news story I'm going to
Just
talk
about.
This is bonkers.
No,
Veronica
from here
Mars.
forward, no.
Veronica Mars.
Veronica Mars, I talked to those folks at ATX Fest. That's a TV Dudes interview.
Of course you did. Veronica Mars dropped its episodes early over on Hulu.
Yes, and we've all already watched them all.
You have.
I have.
I have not. I still think I need to pick up on season 2
It's
before I
fucking
get there.
awesome.
I'm so far behind. Have you been watching
I
any of
haven't
this?
watched a single episode.
So
of
good.
Veronica
I've watched them for you. I'll watch them again for both of y'all.
First season's really awesome.
Yeah.
That's as far as I made it, I think.
Cool.
So I recommend that one. Okay, a couple other trailers that we have to touch on. First up, Star Trek Picard.
Oh, fuck.
So this is, it looks like it's going to be Captain Picard's swan song in the universe, and it's him going out for one last ride with a girl who could be the link to something crazy in the Star Trek universe.
It seems to somehow involve Borg.
It feels a little bit. It felt a little bit more like Serenity, like Firefly to me.
A little
I
bit.
got a Firefly vibe, too, yeah.
Like
Because it's got like Picard
River.
on the Old West kind of vibe, and they got to get, come get him out of retirement.
Yeah,
One
right.
last grizzled ride. He's got a dog. They show the Borg ship. They got 7 and 9
I was
there.
kind of like, it did feel a little bit like Old Man Logan.
Yeah, it's
or Logan.
It's cool that 7 of 9 shows up. It's cool that Data shows up, and it sounds like Riker's going to be there. If Geordi is there, I think that'd be pretty cool. I'm
Yep.
saying all this like I know who these people are because I never watched any of that Star Trek. I
just
really
want
know.
I just want to
I love
see
Next
if Riker
Generation.
still gets into chairs over the back of him.
It's got
Go
to.
look up
They
the
know.
YouTube supercut of Riker sitting down
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Dude,
this is
yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah, I do a Star Trek Discovery pod. I know that Mike and Mariah over on my podcast there already talked about the trailer and did a whole episode on that.
Picard pod.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not sure if that's going to be discussed on the same podcast all the time. Ooh, I don't know how I'd make time. Okay, so another show that's dear to my heart and another podcast that I'm doing separately is Watchmen.
Ooh.
And Watchmen had like a whole installation thing where you could go check out a Dr. Manhattan booth.
Yeah,
Did you go to this, Les?
No, this was a very, like, the size of the table we're sitting in front of with a little line off of it. It was the only Watchmen thing I saw, and I saw it on the last day, and there was still a line for it. I was like,
Well, what is the term for those pop-up things that they do there? 'Cause
experiences or activations.
activations. I'd never heard that before. An activation.
It was cool looking.
Yeah?
It looks wild, though. And the trailer, so all the bags all had the squid on them, which made me like a little, very stylized logo, like a little just black on yellow, but it looked like a giant squid alien thing, which makes me think that they are doing more the comic of what happened.
This is the comic universe.
Yeah.
Squids exist.
Yeah.
Those are the foe. It's not an atomic bomb. Yes.
And so, like, it seems like from the trailer that they released that this is the aftermath of humanity's little blip of peace because of Vet's bullshit.
Of the trailers I saw, easily, this is the one I was so excited
It
to
looks so good.
watch and rewatch and rewatch and
The
rewatch.
Rorschach army, like it, I feel like they get that Rorschach's not the good guy, which comforted me in terms of like the writing of this show.
Yes, please. Right.
But also the Rorschach army is goddamn terrifying.
Yeah, I think it might be that the KKK moved to adopt Rorschach as their new totem, I guess, in a way for them to follow in the line.
That they use the
of
line
him.
of, you'll ask me to save you and I'll say no. I was like, okay, this is what American Horror Story wanted to do for me in the cult season.
What I'm hoping is that they stay true to the source material and we get some Smashing Pumpkins in this first season. That'd be pretty badass.
Wait, Smashing Pumpkins from the movie?
From the trailer, yeah. From the movie. Wait, Smashing Pumpkins weren't in the comic?
Get out of here.
That is like the number one thing. Anytime I talk to anybody about the Watchmen, the Zack Snyder one, we always talk about, man, remember that Smashing Pumpkin song in the trailer?
Wasn't there
That looks
also
so
an
cool.
announcement just recently that Alan Moore is completely retired from comics now? And I like to think that this did it. I like to think that I wonder if Lindelof, like,
the
did someone
final
make
nail.
him a little trophy or something that can go on his mantle of, like, you're the dude that made Moore finally say, fuck humanity, I'm out.
Oh, I mean, Lindelof wrote this really beautiful letter to him, being like, look, I know you might not even read this, so he made it public, but it was like, I've always idolized your work, and I recognize that you are territorial about it, you don't want anyone adapting it, but I also have this opportunity, and I'm going to try and do justice to this, even though you're not going to like it. I'm still going to try and do my best because this is a work I idolized. And when you look at all the beats, you look at this world he's developed. This is a remix, is how he describes it, but it's taking place in modern day. The original comic took place in 1985, and it looks like some of the characters are showing up. Like one of the biggest reveals is Jean Smart, who we love from Fargo and we love from Legion.
Women and Legion. And
She's going to be playing a character named Laurie Blake. And Laurie Blake is most likely Laurie Giuseppe, a.k.a. Silk Spectre. So she's Silk Spectre. But she goes by Laurie Blake because
which
the
would be the comedian's
last name Blake, and she finds out that the comedian was actually her biological father. So some change in the events makes her change her identity and take on that last name. I'm guessing it's out of
wait a second.
self-loathing.
I'm eager to see if
Isn't
Dr. Manhattan knows about the differences in the universes.
Yeah, right?
I mean, because that's how they're playing him in
Yeah,
the
can you-
DC comic multiverse right now. Like,
I'm so far behind. I haven't checked any of
they're
those
straight up use it. Like, at this point, I think in the comics, Manhattan's figured out that any change he makes to Superman changes the DC universe, and he's responsible for Rebirth and the New 52 and, like, a bunch of weird shit.
Oh, man. Oh, that's funny.
Nice.
Yeah, I just think that Lindelof understands this world. I'm obviously a big Lindelof zealot. I put on my Lindelof mask and chant in
I'm
the
getting
church.
happier and happier and more excited about this the more I see from it.
I was when that first trailer came out, I thought this was going to be much more like The Leftovers in tone. It seems kind of like small town, a little bit like melancholy, and maybe it's going to be a little slow paced. But then looking at how fucking balls out trippy it is, I'm like, oh, it's going to be those episodes of The Leftovers, like International Assassin or that that lion sex cult like fuckboat party that they did an episode
that episode
on.
was so cool.
So it's gonna be like that weird shit. They're gonna have raining squids and like pigs running out of like
Looks nuts.
hallways and like whatever weird
Zeppelins
shit
and
is.
crazy
Smashing
shit.
pumpkins.
A lot of eggs.
It just feels like thematically he's hitting on all of the things that you want to touch on for this world. Like superheroes existing in the world is going to be a bad thing for the world ultimately,
But in a
And-
different way than The Boys.
Yeah, not in that like sensationalized. The Boys feels like Zack Snyder doing an adaptation of Watchmen, isn't it? It's like exactly that's what Zack Snyder does. He likes punching through brick walls and being over
Fuck
the top with
suits.
shit. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not what the Watchmen was.
I've got a nice enamel pin now from Comic Con from The Boys activation that's it just says "fuck soups."
Nice. You know
'Cause
what that
that's
one
definitely the voice
kind of
attitude.
looked like to me? Do you guys remember that musical short that Joss Whedon did? It was like Dr.
Horrible sing along vlog.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the Zack Snyder version of that.
You heard it here first. The Boys is the Zack Snyder version of Dr. Horrible.
And then Rick and Morty season 5's coming back soon.
Fuck.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I
Or
mean, we
season
already
4.
kind of knew that. Season 4.
Yeah.
Right.
But they already have, because that's the big news, is that everything's been worked out. They're renewed for like 1,000 more episodes or something. So they are actually working on season 5 right now.
Right.
Before season 4. They even joked, they said, the way that our schedule is now, we could actually release season 5 before we release season 4 if we wanted to.
That's bonkers.
Yeah. But
But that's
the
what they did. Didn't they
promise-
chart out like 4 more seasons or something crazy?
Yeah, like they're just going to keep production going. Like they don't have to do like the big hiatus whenever they're working on contracts or whatever it was that kept the big gap between season 2 and season 3, and then season 3 and now.
Hell yeah. All right. I just realized all the rest of our news is movie stuff. So let's take a quick break and we'll come back and talk about that.
Back.
It's time to talk about some movie news. Now, It was a big book I heard by this guy named Stefan King. Stefan?
Yeah, I
Kang.
think he was the same
Kang.
guy who did a Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, is it the same guy?
No,
Okay.
I'm making a different connection there.
It came out in 2017. It was a pretty big release, I think, that horror
Yep.
movie. And the chapter 2 is coming out, or it came out last year, 2018. The
Yeah, chapter
second
2 looks
chapter
great.
trailer looks pretty badass because now the kids are all older. So we see
James
like
McAvoy,
Bill Hader,
Jessica Chastain,
And Barry.
Bill Hader.
Barry. So you know ho Hank Barry.
Don't fuck with Barry.
Yeah, this looked really dark and disturbing, and like the music in the background. Oh, it's so intense.
Oh, yeah, that music. All
very-
the audio from this trailer.
Yeah,
is-
very rarely do I notice like score music in a trailer or music in a. But yeah, the It music is incredibly creepy and really adds to it.
One of the first ones I remember was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Remember when that one was like the sound of like a Polaroid being taken? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we know.
That was so great.
It was super creepy.
No, there was a scene in Texas Chainsaw Massacre where it's like a found footage scene. And this scene was so vivid, and found footage was like not as like frequently done back then. I went home and I was like, wait, was Texas Chainsaw Massacre real? Like, this really happened?
that's constantly the thing. Is this what really happened?
They got some really good found footage for the end.
Okay, so Top Gun is coming back. There's a sequel. Top
Yep.
Gun, topping out.
Top of the class.
Top baby.
You hear Val Kilmer's going to be in it?
As Iceman.
As Iceman.
Basically, everybody but Kelly McGillis.
They're going to have some more volleyball scenes in this one, I believe.
Hold up. And his wingman, because he's dead.
Goose is dead.
No, that's
yeah.
the plot of the movie. No, they have to. There's a new experimental plane, and they're going to fly through a rip in space time and bring Goose home.
Shit. Take my money.
I did not see the trailer, and I don't know if you're fucking with me at all.
You can't tell.
I can't.
It could possibly be the plot of this movie. It's not. I don't think it is.
Oh my god! I was like, what?
I don't know from the trailer. There's no plot shown away. So this still could be. You know what? I'm going to hold out that this is the plot of this movie.
Wait, so you haven't seen the trailer, Grant?
No.
Okay, so there is a big thing if you haven't seen this trailer. The big, like, marvel that he's trying to do is he's actually created a camera rig to go in the cockpit of a fighter jet. So essentially, what it looks like is Tom Cruise is sitting in, like, the second seat of a fighter jet with, like, cameras on him, looking like he's flying the plane, and he's in a real fighter jet doing, like, crazy maneuvers with other fighter jets around him.
Of fucking course he is. He's an adrenaline junkie.
He's going to kill himself.
The shots
That's
and
what
stuff
this
in
is
it
all
are
about.
crazy. Though in that trailer at the start of it, did you not expect it to cut to Rey jumping up with the light? I so wanted Rey to, like, turn the lightsaber on and jump and split an F whatever those are in half. Like it starts out. It's very.
As
It's
Daisy
very
Ridley,
This is your best TIE
no,
fighter
but it
pilot
starts out
we got.
very much like the new Star Wars trailer did.
Where he's,
And I
like, cruising across the desert.
Oh, sweet.
with the voiceover of, like, you know, I was given advice by a person a long time ago, but I've just now learned it for real.
Another movie that I know you both are excited for, Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Ah! Okay, yeah. No, I'm freaking out over this one.
So I was realizing when we watched the trailer with Grant before that you either think Kevin Smith movies are funny or you just don't, because, like, Grant had no hairs moved on you at all, like nothing came alive.
I was pretty stone faced, like,
This is a Kevin Smith movie for
I
sure.
enjoyed Dogma.
Yeah,
I
this is going to be Jay and
the
Silent
best
Bob.
one.
Chasing
No.
Amy, Mallrats.
Yeah.
I think his later ones
This is
are
going to
just
hint at those,
no.
but this is going to be very much.
yeah.
It's even just called the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. That is the name of it.
And it's the idea was that he wanted to make fun of, like, how everything's getting rebooted. But oh my gosh, I've been watching all of the press. I watched the panel they did on this. They did a thing on the IMDb boat, and they also did, like, an hour for the for MTV. They had a Comic-Con thing there, and man, there's, like, a ton of great stories about the making of this movie. My favorite one, just real quick, the Ben Affleck one. Apparently, he wrote the script, no Ben Affleck at all, and they were, like, weeks away from making the movie. And then somebody asked Ben Affleck in an interview, like, hey, did you get the call about reboot? And his answer was, no, and I'm available.
And they went, screet.
Well, the internet did. Kevin Smith says the reason he didn't reach out is because they had... Like, apparently Ben Affleck got mad at him because they were talking about something, and he was like, I don't want to hear this on a podcast, you know, or I don't want to hear this in a Q&A or something. And they just hadn't talked since then. And it was one of those things where in his head he was like, yeah, maybe that guy hates me, maybe we're not friends anymore, but I don't want to, like, call him and find out, you know? Like, I would rather not call him and then, you know, maybe we're still friends.
Yeah.
And he sent him some text that was like something from Conan the Barbarian, like, the king thou poureth his cup over too much or something like that. Just texted it to him out of the blue. And Ben Affleck responded, of course you still think of yourself as a king. And sure enough, now he's got all these great stories. Like, he flew out to New Orleans, did like I think it was like 8 pages, 4 of which were, like, all him monologuing. He talked about it. He said that he wrote, like, a little Chasing Amy sequel into the film for Ben Affleck. Yeah. And that's going to be the character he's reprising, is the comic artist.
So it's a lot of the characters that, like, so Jason Lee's going to be the character from Mallrats.
Yeah. Which I think, was he in Strike Back?
Yep.
Because I know Ben Affleck was the guy who kind of did all the exposition, but they had, like, Brody's secret stash they'd established at that movie. Grant,
so it's
like,
the same
glazed
comic
over, he
story,
doesn't know what we're talking
the
about.
Askewiverse.
Yeah.
I don't know. This goes in the same camp as, like, Tenacious D movies for me. And I'm like, I like Tenacious D music, but that movie, I don't know.
I think that Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is just an insanely campy movie. Like,
It's
even
just
back
cameo
then,
the
it was
movie,
kind
right?
I mean, it's like borderline Friedberg and Seltzer territory with like how campy it gets. And everything Kevin Smith says is like, I wanted to remake that movie. Like, I wanted to like give those characters kind of a better, conclusion. Because Dogma, I think, is genius. Like, granted, now I'm getting into Neil Gaiman because these shows are coming out, so now I'm like going back and reading Neil Gaiman, and I'm like, oh shit, I guess if you were reading Neil Gaiman back when this came out, you'd probably make a movie like Dogma too. But like before I had Neil Gaiman, I had Dogma, and I think, it's just out of all those, I think it's probably his masterpiece.
Well, we're all super excited for it.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
We know what we're doing for Grant's birthday.
No. All right, guys. I want to talk about some Marvel news. There was this Marvel panel. I don't know if you guys heard of this company.
Pile on.
Is that 2 L's?
I can't really spell it because I'm illiterate, so I'm not sure. So Marvel put out a panel, and they released a fuck ton of news because, as you all know, Endgame came out, and that put the period at the end of Phase 3 of their big Marvel franchise.
The Infinity Saga.
Yes. Thus begins Phase 4.
And so now we're left with, well, now what? What's it going to be? And they haven't given us any sort of picture of what the new big threat and what the new big arc might be, but they have certainly shown us a whole bunch of new projects they're unveiling. The first one, The Eternals, is going to be a new movie that's going to star Richard Madden, Kumail Nanjiani, Lauren Ridloff, Brian Tyree Henry, Salma Hayek, Leah McHugh, Don Lee, and Angelina Jolie. Remember her? I thought she's just like a humanitarian now. Stay-at-home mom?
Yeah. Stay-at-home Maleficent?
Yeah, I just haven't seen her in a whole lot of stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, cool.
No, when they talked about this, so I watched this panel, and because, this year, if you were on YouTube, all the Hall H panels, or especially the Marvel one, which I think was either Friday or Saturday, 5 p.m. their time, so 7 p.m. here in
They were
Texas.
all streamed?
Mm-hmm. No, but there were... I mean, essentially, you could record the broadcast, or you could record whatever you did. So they had like all these like spots for like different news outlets to get there. So there's tons of YouTube videos of just people who had a camera in there.
Yeah, we were sitting like elsewhere at like outside the convention center in the Hilton, just watching it be live streamed out of Hall H.
Yeah, it was really easy to go back and catch all this. But no, in the panel, something they talked about is the fact that, I mean, it's in the title, but these characters are immortal so that they could tell stories like over, like, tell like an actual like saga, like over, different time periods.
Right.
Kind of reminded me of that episode in the middle of Good Omens where it kind of just showed Aziraphale and Crawley like over just the course of like several millennia or decades.
Yeah, like losing the
Not
sword
decades,
and
like
eons. And
eons, like different periods in history.
And I can't remember if they separate out Celestials from Eternals or if they're
Celestials created the Eternals.
Okay. Because the skull that is nowhere.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that is a dead Eternal or a dead
Celestial.
Celestial.
Just like Star-Lord's dad, Ego, the Living Planet, is a Celestial.
Okay.
And the other one we saw was in Guardians 1, the cool Jack Kirby-looking, like, sixth-eyed thing.
That had the Power Stone, and it's like destroying the planet.
Just mowed down that whole planet.
And then Galactus. He's a Celestial as well, right? Am I wrong about that?
No, he's a dude that survived the previous universe.
Oh.
He's the last thing that survived the previous universe.
This will be directed by Chloe Zhao, and I'm just crossing my fingers that it's nothing like Cloud Atlas.
Or
please God, no.
I actually like Cloud Atlas.
Or the
rewatch
Inhumans.
it.
Let's do Cloud Atlas, the TV show.
I dare you to try and rewatch that.
That's still one of the best
painfully
books I've ever read.
I actually haven't seen it twice. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
I just don't want this
he
to
knows
be
the true truth.
I don't want this to be the Infernals or whatever Inhumans.
The Inhumans.
Yes,
this feels pretty close to it.
I'm really afraid that Marvel's going to have a misstep.
They were going to make an Inhumans movie for a minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even in the comics, like I remember when all that news was coming out, like in the comics, there was some story about how like some Inhumans gas cloud or whatever was killing all of the
Terrigen
mutants.
mist,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Terrigen mist was like lethal to mutants, and somebody
It felt like they were really
released
trying to poise.
like get rid of X-Men completely
because they didn't have movie rights to them, so the MCU wasn't going to have mutants. But now they announced that the MCU will have mutants.
Yeah,
now the
it seemed
Inhumans-
like almost like a throwaway line, but he did
And
say, "Yeah, there's going to be mutants and Fantastic Four."
Can't wait for Fantastic Four.
just-
That's the bit that everybody. Well, actually, I can. You know who's who they're saying is going to direct it? Peyton Reed, who did
Ant-Man?
half of the first Ant-Man movie and then the sequel.
Yeah, I loved both of those.
I like
I
the
don't
first
know.
one.
I'm an
I also
Edgar Wright
liked,
fanboy, so I kind of just like have to hate Peyton Reed because like
No,
all
you
that
don't.
went
That's
like
silly.
sideways. Oh yeah, I'm way silly. I can get sillier. You want to get silly? I'll get silly.
He also directed the Doris Day homage movie with Renee Zellweger, Down with Love.
I see a lot of the fan base clamoring for, specifically in Fantastic Four, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt to be Mr. and Mrs. Mr. and Mrs.
Yes.
Fantastic. And then a lot of people will end up putting Zac Efron as Johnny Blaze. Johnny Storm, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a lot of rumors going around that Hopper from Stranger Things,
Oh yeah.
whatever that actor's name is, he might potentially be
Harbour.
Why would it not be The
Benjamin
Rock?
Grimm. The Rock playing The Rock.
The Rock
Yeah.
should be the thing.
Well, you know,
He's not a good actor.
There's
though,
some
is
other
he?
rumors.
He's charming, I guess.
The rumor is Zac Efron
I just want to see that eyebrow in Rock go up.
might be doing Adam Warlock, and
David Harbour is who I was thinking. By the way.
David
Yes.
Harbour is actually
Red-
he's going to be in the Black Widow movie. Now they're not saying he's Taskmaster; they're saying he's somebody else. But
I think they said
do
Red
this all the
Guardian
time.
right now.
Ah.
They have him labeled as Red Guardian, who's basically the
Oh, yeah,
Russian,
that's right.
the Russian Captain America. So
Ah.
that's who he's
So
going to be.
if after Infinity Gauntlet in the comics, if they're doing like Adam Warlock and the Infinity Watch or something similar to that, I'm wondering if they're going to run up to Power Cosmic and we're going to get to see Tom Holland as the Cosmic Spider-Man at some point.
Ooh.
Whoa.
With the white mask, starburst,
Before,
bullshit. They're doing
Far-
Nova movie. They're doing more. It's all cosmic.
Well, I'm saying they need to at least have him as Spider-Man UK in like a multiple universe type film.
I just want an Excalibur movie. Damn it!
I'm just so excited that Kumail Nanjiani's going to be in the Marvel Universe.
You've seen what he looks like?
Yeah.
He's fucking pulling a Chris Pratt. He's putting on muscle.
He's getting buff.
Yeah.
And then Brian Tyree Henry
That's gonna be
from,
great.
from Atlanta, Paperboy. He's going to be
he's also
fastest.
Miles' dad from Spider-Verse.
Yeah. So awesome. Speaking of Spider-Verse and Miles' dad's brother, his uncle, Aaron Davis, is
Oh,
Mahershala Ali, who's
Blade.
going to be Blade because they're bringing Blade back.
this is insane. You guys read what Wesley Snipes said about this?
That he wanted to be Blade.
Well, okay, so he's been saying that for years.
Because he's been saying like, "Hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm ready."
So he's got enough of the internet who's like, F this, bring Wesley Snipes
Yeah.
in. He wrote the most like, please let me be involved, let thing on Twitter, which is like, no, he's a great actor and I think it's going to be amazing and, you should really support this movie.
I think it's like, chillax, everyone.
Yeah, something like that. He put some like Islamic
taxes.
phrases in there.
I
And
mean,
they're doing.
as long as it's like some motherfucker's always trying to ice skate uphill is a line in the new version, that's all I need.
So good.
That's the only line I need. Yeah, there's all. I mean,
so
You guys see Mahershala Ali in the Alita Battle Angel?
no, I didn't see it.
I mean, he was kind of playing Blade without the powers in that movie.
the artist Boss Logic already had drafted up him as Blade after seeing that movie. So
Oh,
there's like this
nice.
fan art of it, and that like
shit.
Boss Logic's art is awesome.
Now, you've got Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness pulled up right now, and I am stoked about it because they announced that's going to be straight up horror.
The name, like, how did Cargill not have a hand in naming this? Right?
He definitely did.
This seems
Surely, right?
like such a homage to the Mouth of Madness.
Oh, yeah. And getting to play with the multiverse idea, and it's Cargill and Derrickson. Yeah.
You want to know what's really cool about this? Casting rumors. All right. One of two people for the villain. Either Christian Bale or Matt Smith.
Okay.
Oh.
Hopefully it's Christian Bale.
Hopefully it's Matt Smith.
Really?
Oh, I think it'd be cool. Matt Smith got cast in one of those shitty Terminator movies, and I was like, man, you fucked it up. Like, you need to put him in something better. That was not cool.
That's the dude who looks like Launchpad McQuack, right? From
Matt
Doctor Who.
Smith? Yeah.
Yeah, it
Okay,
looks like
maybe-
Launchpad. He
maybe a little
he
bit.
should be in a DuckTales movie, live action DuckTales.
You're trying
they
to be
have
hurtful,
almost
but I'm
got the
actually
cloning
cool
of
with it.
Benedict Cumberbatch down, and Matt Smith is like an unfinished clone.
Still processing.
He's a treasure.
Yeah, so pretty excited about that. It looks like Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch is going to make a
Yeah.
prominent role in that.
And her TV
She's also
series,
in WandaVision.
yeah,
which is a weird name.
Going to be a lead into that.
WandaVision is this television show with her and Paul Bettany, Vision, so Wanda and Vision. I don't know. I'm guessing it would be a prequel about
wait a
them.
second.
No, it's
What's
not. It
the-
can't be a prequel. It's going to have adult Monica Rambeau.
Oh, right, but she could have been an adult operating before the events, right? Like,
Well, she's a child in the 80s.
it's a child in the 80s. I don't know. She could be older.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it wouldn't be too far ahead prequel
Wait.
though. It's not like it's going to be Vision in the
Child in the 90s.
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 So Monica Rambeau was the kid of Captain Marvel's
Who helped
buddy.
to break out the colors on
Yes.
the suit.
Yeah. So
Someday you're going to shine.
Wait, so
Yeah.
real quick, what's the Doctor Strange movie called again?
Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness.
and it's going
who's
to go
it gonna
straight
have?
up into the multiverse.
But it's going to have Scarlet Witch in it.
Uh-huh.
And it's got M's in the title. Maybe it's really
Maybe
going to be
it's
House of M.
Oh shit.
Oh, M's everywhere.
And
Maybe
that
that's-
would she could
So maybe
bring the
WandaVision's
X-Men in.
Wanda's fake ass show of the world.
Oh, it could be. Like what if they're
We're
what
all
if they're
just
doing
living
like
in our-
some weird kind of like maniac thing or whatever?
did
like
say,
where they like tripping into like
we
a
Yeah.
would see some more of her
That
like
Twilight Zone
Omega level
episode.
powers in the show.
a good day
Or that
whatever.
we would find out why she was the witch part of her powers, I think is what they said.
Speaking of witches and warlocks, Loki is also apparently getting a TV series.
and they just tried all the fonts. They're going to pick one later.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with his logo. It's super ugly.
It is ugly as fuck.
These different letters going on for Loki, but
Yeah.
I guess it's going to be great to see more of Tom Hiddleston.
Yep.
You know, he said about this. He said this has been one of the best creative opportunities I've ever been given, and it's
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting because for how talented he is and how much he brings to these Marvel movies, like he's still just a supporting character in all these films. But like he's a leading man. Like what was that spy show
yeah.
we saw him in last year?
I don't remember what it was called.
Or the year before last.
I'm
The
sure
Night
watched
Manager.
the whole thing. Night Manager.
That shit was amazing. No, this guy. This is his time.
Well, that's not all on the TV front. The Falcon and Winter Soldier. So all these characters that have been like these B characters in all of these movies are now getting to headline television series.
On some Disney
and
Plus,
this is
yeah.
Marvel, Kevin Feige's Marvel MCU vision of what TV should be, not those Netflix ones that they were doing
or
earlier.
the ABC integration. I bet the integration between the next set of movies and these shows will be something we've never seen before. I'm willing
Like
to bet it's on a level
in
way
any
different.
medium
Yeah.
before, right?
Way different, I'm betting, than the Civil War AOS.
And if all these
Crossover.
shows suck and all these movies suck, then he can go, hey, we tried that. Let's do X-Men
Yep.
now and make a shitload of money.
There's going to be another show.
Jeffrey Wright is the Watcher.
In What If?
Holy shit.
Can't wait.
Did you guys hear what this is going to be? Animated.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they said they're going to feature voices from every MCU actor. And I mean, they had a list on the screen.
Even Robert Downey Jr.?
Yes, even Robert Downey.
I love that they're doing Hawkeye. They got the logo from the run of comics. I love. They're going to do
Oh, shit,
Kate Bishop.
We're getting ahead of yeah.
Yeah. That's also
Kate
going to be
Bishop.
like, Jeremy Renner obviously got the short shaft. Like he's always in these, but he never gets featured. Him and Black Widow both seem to.
Can I give a controversial take here?
Yeah.
I don't think Jeremy Renner was a good choice for Hawkeye. I like Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, and I fucking love Jeremy Renner.
But he's not the Hawkeye from like the comics you think of.
I also think of like Jeremy Renner in like Hurt Locker and The Town. Like I feel like is much better as a bad guy or like really like hardcore anti-hero. Like
he's better in his intensity than he is in his wisecracking or anything.
I've never been a huge Venom fan, but I feel like if you did that right, you'd want somebody like Jeremy Renner playing Venom, like somebody who's like at their core a bad guy.
I kind of feel
but
you on
does
that.
some good stuff
Yeah.
every now and then. But no, his Hawkeye's great.
but Black Widow. We're also getting a Black Widow movie. And this is what we were already kind of hinting at. David Harbour is going to be in it. And Rachel Weisz is going to be in that? How did I miss that? I'm pretty excited because it sounds like David Harbour is going to be the Captain America, Red Guardian of Russia. And this is going to be a prequel that takes place when she was in Russia.
Actually, they said that it's going to take place like
alternate reality?
No, but like right before Endgame, but not like her origin. Like, so after the events of Iron Man 2 and some of the Avengers films. Yeah. But here's the thing. I don't think you make that movie without showing us what happened in Budapest.
Oh.
They wouldn't have, because they shouted out Budapest in Endgame. So it lets you know if they're still making more Black Widow, they're going to do.
We got to see Budapest.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's two other big movie announcements. We have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which sounds pretty exciting. This is going to feature finally the real Mandarin. They've cast Tony Leung as him. Awkwafina is going to be in this. And Simu Liu is going to appear as Shang-Chi. Now, I haven't really heard of him, but you, Kyle, were just telling me about what went down here.
So I watched this one as well, and he said in the panel that so we're recording this the Wednesday after Comic-Con. The Tuesday before Comic-Con, he screen tested in Toronto for this, and that weekend,
about a week ago.
A year before this on Twitter, he actually posted, "Hey Marvel, let's talk Shang-Chi. Call me, I'm available." Like back in 2018.
Damn.
But yeah, and then he was at Comic-Con less than a week later.
That's
being
amazing.
announced.
Okay, and the last one, this one I think like got everyone the most excited. Thor: Love and Thunder. There's going to be a fourth Thor movie, and it's going to be directed once again by Taika Waititi. It's going to have Hemsworth, it's going to have Tessa Thompson, and it's going to have the return of Natalie Portman as Jane Foster, a.k.a. Dr. Thor.
And it's got a logo that demands to be on some footy pajamas and some bed sheets immediately.
Paint this on the side of my creepy van.
Oh my God. The Thor Love and Thunder. Seriously, it's some Love and Thundercats.
This is, what's it called? Swords and Sandals kind of movie font.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like the cover to a Rush album.
It's fucking great. Seriously, that is going to be some cheesy-ass metal. I can't wait.
I just watched Ragnarok again last night, and it's so amazing. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies by far. I love it.
I loved watching the panel for this afterwards because they can't put the video on YouTube if there's like copyrighted music playing in the background. So every time a song would come on, which is like when the actors kept coming out, they kept cutting off the audio so you couldn't hear what it was. But I can only imagine it's just like amazing 80s rock hits.
Oh, man. So excited for all of this. Marvel just kills it every year. I feel like Comic-Con is just a platform for Marvel.
And what's interesting is...
I'm really wondering if it's all going to move to D23 now.
Oh, yeah.
Because why would they? They don't need Comic-Con anymore.
Yeah.
Disney owns all of it.
But what I find interesting is last year, because Endgame Infinity War had just come out, and they didn't want to like spoil Endgame. They didn't have a big presence last year. But this year they did have a big presence, but who didn't? DC or Warner Brothers. They didn't do like any DC movies.
No, so Warner Brothers Television and DCAU had a huge presence, and DC like Warner Brothers features did nothing.
Yep. So maybe we start to see next year it'll be like DC kind of doing their thing and Marvel will take a seat back, and then they'll switch, because this is only 2 years worth of stuff, which normally they're like giving us, this is, the next however many films. Like,
yeah.
God, we already have heard rumors and we know that, other things are in the pipe.
The fact that they're just going to blast us with all of this, that's a poor terminology, but
yeah,
it's going to be intense. This is a lot of stuff, and I wonder if it's going to be too much. I think it's perfect timing for Watchmen to come back out and have a snarky take on superheroes.
Well, one of the big things we learned after this weekend is that there will not be an Avengers film in this like Phase 4 of Marvel movies.
Oh my God.
No.
How will they survive? That's it. It spells the end for Marvel. Them and Netflix going to be bumming for change.
All right, folks. We have... I think that's it. I think that's covered Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Like, most of you guys already read all this, so we're just preaching to the choir.
I would one other honorable mention to make is that the Russo brothers and the writers of Endgame, those 4 guys have started this new company called, like, I keep wanting to call it Austin Beer Garden. It's like ABGB or something like that. Agbo, or I forget the exact acronym. But this new company they're starting, they are making films. They're calling it kind of the same method we use to make these Marvel films. But they're getting all these actors from the Marvel films to be in them. So, like, they have a film coming out next year about kind of the opioid crisis that's starring Tom Holland. And there's another film that they're producing, somebody else is directing, starring Chadwick Boseman, called, I think, 29 Bridges?
21 Bridges.
21 Bridges, yeah.
They're going to
premiered the
make
trailer
so
at-
much money.
They premiered the trailer of it at Comic-Con.
Man, these films, and then they also announced a handful of other projects they're working on. Like, I'm really excited to see what they start doing. They're going to start making money is what they're going to start doing.
Good. I felt bad for those guys probably being poor after making Infinity
Yeah.
War.
No money in these comic book movies.
Yo. Someday they'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
Well, they took all that money and opened their own company, so now they're broke again.
Folks, that's it. We're going to wrap things up here. We want to say thank you guys for checking us out. I think we're probably going to be taking a break next week, but don't turn that dial. We'll be back the week after.
Yeah, listen
and
to some reruns.
If you guys want to help support us, patreon.com/tvdudes. You can go ahead and check out a lot of our other great content on Facebook. If
Check
you
out
check
the
us out there.
anti-Semitic Seinfeld episode we did.
Whoa.
What?
You don't remember that?
We read the script, that really fucked
That's
up
right.
script of like how Seinfeld would handle 9/11.
That's right. That's
Oh, yeah,
right.
the 9/11 one.
Good Die Young just wrapped up. Season 2, Happy Town.
Yeah, Watchmen Pod is going on. You still popping by one of us occasionally?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Yeah,
of course, I'll have interviews from Comic-Con coming out on That's My E. And That's My Entertainment. That's my E.com.
go ahead and check it all out, guys. We appreciate you checking us out, and we'll be back in a couple weeks. Until then,
TV Dudes out!
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter @TV Dudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.